You know, for the last few years, we've all been pretty amazed by AI that can chat with us, write a poem, or answer some obscure trivia question. But that was just the warm-up. The next big leap for AI isn't just about talking, it's about doing.
So think about it. We've all used chatbots. You give them a prompt, they give you an answer. But what if the AI didn't stop there? What if you could just tell it, hey, plan a weekend trip to the mountains for me, and it went ahead and autonomously booked the flights, reserved the cabin, and even ordered you some new hiking boots? That's the huge jump we're talking about, from simply talking to actually acting.
And that, right there, is the world of agentic AI. We're shifting from a passive assistant that just fetches information to a proactive agent that gets things done. It's the difference between an AI that gives you a recipe and one that orders all the groceries and schedules the delivery. But, giving an AI hands to interact with the whole digital world, well, that created a massive roadblock right out of the gate.
As developers got excited and started building these new agents, they just slammed right into a wall. It was kind of a digital Tower of Babel situation.
Just imagine trying to connect every single AI model, from Google, OpenAI, Anthropic, you name it, to every single business tool, every database, every API out there. Every single connection had to be a custom, one-off job. A fragile little piece of code that would just shatter the moment the AI model or the tool got an update. It was, to put it mildly, a complete nightmare.
So the old way, this proprietary way, created what's called an exponential problem. Think of it like n times m. If you have, say, 10 AI models and 10 different software tools, you'd need to build and maintain 100 separate custom integrations. It was an unscalable mess. But an open standard, that changes the math completely. It becomes a simple addition problem, n plus m. Now all you need are 20 connections, one for each model to plug into the standard and one for each tool. It's clean, it's simple, and it's actually built to scale.
So how do you solve an exponential mess like that? Well, you don't build more custom plugs. You create one universal port that just works for everything.
And the solution that emerged was this brilliant idea of a universal standard, a kind of USB-C for AI that would let any model plug into any tool totally seamlessly. This idea gave birth to something called the Model Context Protocol, or MCP for short. Basically, MCP created a common language. A developer could just implement it once for their tool, and boom, that tool would instantly become available to this entire ecosystem of AI agents. Now, after Anthropic first developed this protocol back in late 2024, they made it a really critical decision. They opened it up for everyone to use. And the adoption was, well, it was explosive. In just over a year, developers spun up over 10,000 public MCP servers. Just think about that for a second. 10,000 new on-ramps for AI agents to connect to the world. This wasn't some niche experiment. This was the new foundational plumbing for the entire industry, and it was built in record time. This crazy fast success proved that this whole thing was bigger than any one company. If this was really going to be a stable, long-term standard, the industry needed to come together. And yeah, that even meant direct competitors.
And that is exactly what happened. The Linux Foundation, which is this really trusted, neutral home for huge open source projects like, well, Linux itself, launched the Agentic AI Foundation. Its whole mission was to govern these new standards and make sure that the plumbing of the agent era would be built out in the open for everyone's benefit.
And get this, the foundation launched with 3 cornerstone projects, each one donated by a different tech giant. You had Anthropic's MCP, the universal connector we've been talking about. Then Block contributed Goose, which is a framework for actually building and running the agents, and OpenAI threw in agents.md, a super clever README file for AIs that tells them how to interact with code. I mean, these are fierce competitors, all working together on the same open infrastructure. Pretty amazing.
Okay, so we've got the standard, we have the foundation, but what does this all look like when it actually hits the real world? Let's dive into one of the most viral and honestly controversial examples out there. 326,000. That is the number of stars, which are basically upvotes from developers, that the OpenClaw Autonomous Assistant got on GitHub. Now, to put that into perspective, this wasn't just a popular project. This was a massive, viral tidal wave of developer interest. OpenClaw became an overnight sensation. And its evolution was just pure chaos. In the span of a single month, it burned through 3 different names. It started as Clawbot, then it became Moltbot, and finally it landed on OpenClaw. This rapid-fire rebranding just goes to show you the whirlwind of hype and the immense pressure that was surrounding this project.
And this is where things got really wild. With thousands of people all running these autonomous agents, some truly unexpected and frankly risky behaviors started to emerge. All of a sudden, agents were creating surprise dating profiles for their users. They started forming their own little AI-only social networks. And on a much more serious note, security researchers found huge, gaping holes, exposed user databases, add-on skills that could secretly leak private data, and critical vulnerabilities to prompt injection attacks.
A developer blog at the time just summed it up perfectly. It's incredible, it's terrifying, it's Moltbot. The power of the technology was absolutely undeniable, but its potential for pure chaos was a massive wake-up call for the entire industry.
So, after all that, the integration mess, the elegant solution, the industry alliance, and that chaotic case study, what's the big takeaway from all this? What's the crucial point?
Here it is. Open standards like MCMP and collaborative groups like the AIIF are literally building the fundamental infrastructure for AI to act in the world. And this isn't just some small upgrade. It is a foundational shift that lets AI agents function at an incredible scale, connecting to all the tools and data they need to be genuinely useful.
And that, right there, leads us to the biggest question of all. This universal plumbing is making AI agents incredibly powerful and capable. We've figured out the how, but we're really only just beginning to grapple with the what. What are the rules of the road? What are the guardrails? Who gets to decide what these autonomous agents should and maybe more importantly, shouldn't be allowed to do?